Did you know that 3% of all carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere is a result of agriculture? The biggest question that agriculture and nature conservation face is determining whether to integrate agriculture with nature so they can coexist or to keep them separate, in which case each would deplete their own resources. In other words, should we spare it or share it? Some native plants to agriculture areas in the Yampa Valley include varieties of grasses such as timothy and sedges, wildflowers in some areas, and the most affected, sagebrush. Native animals include birds such as geese, grouse, and sandhill cranes, elk, deer, rodents, and decomposer organisms.
From the heavens to the seas, we're bringing Mother Nature to. So let's leave some.
The ideal situation for a world park conservation would be to spare the land for the sake of nature. To do this, everyone would be confined to the urban areas and the agriculture and farming would have a small section in the rural area that would be big enough to supply adequate amounts of resources for the population. These resources would then be brought back to the urban areas and distributed
There's a change
accordingly.
taking place way on the mountain. Acid rain is falling on the leaves.
Nature would exist outside of both the urban and agriculture areas. There are a few trails embedded in the nature area so that citizens can still interact with it and realize why it is such an important asset. At this point in time, there are many obstacles our country would have to overcome, including learning to build taller buildings and not spread many buildings out across the land. Also, this situation would lead to an increase in concentrated agriculture, which could cause more long-term destruction in that single area. You may be wondering why this is such a concerning topic right now. The answer? We only get one chance to make sure we preserve our environment, and the longer we wait, the less we are able to preserve. With the World Park take on nature conservation, succession may remain constant because there is a lack of competition, which may lead to an increase in genetic diversity. It could also cause a different problem, lack of genetic diversity, because there would be less adaptation within the species. This World Park idea would also create many biological advantages that would allow populations to increase or decrease according to their carrying capacity at natural rates without much resistance. The coexistence with nature can teach us to spare something and work with one another to ensure the greatest success for the most amount of people.
Pass it on down. So let's leave some blue up above us. Let's leave some green on.
Perfect article in the April 2012 National Geographic magazine called Where Slaves Ruled that explained how these slaves from Brazil escaped and have become one with nature by creating hidden societies within the heart of the countries. They are setting a perfect example for the rest of the world because not only are they living as part of nature, they are also protecting it to the best of their ability. This article explained how this one woman has planted many different native fruit-producing trees to ensure her village looks like an untouched tropical landscape to any outside visitor. She is not only replenishing her resources and taking very good care of the environment that she lives in, but she is also helping her family members overcome a longing issue of hunger. Why don't we do something like that? Simple. Our population is constantly increasing. This village can only support so many people before it becomes destructive to the environment. They have also dedicated this land as common area. It is not subdivided and individually owned like we have come accustomed to. Now, it is your turn to make a difference and promote nature conservation in every environment, no matter if you live in an urban or rural area.
I believe from the heavens to the seas, we're bringing Mother Nature to her knees. So let's leave some blue